It's important to do. All of us chiropractors.
As loud as I thought it was going to be. My name is Kelly Ashcraft. I'm the Vice President for Enrollment Services here at Sherman College, and I want to welcome you all here today, whether you're a student, faculty member, a staff member, or a guest. I have the pleasure of introducing the coordinator of this event, Dr. Erik Van Slooten. He graduated from Life West in April of 2009. He now practices with his father, sister, and his wife in Salt Lake City, Utah. With a passion to get the truths of chiropractic out to the public, Dr. Van Slooten founded Talk the Tic while he was a student at Life West, and it has since grown into an international professional function, inspiring chiropractors to tell their story. Dr. Van Slooten will be the MC of this morning's event, so please join me in welcoming him.
Welcome, everybody. Good morning. How are we doing this morning? Are we excited or what? Tell you what, this is a really exciting morning. I've been looking forward to bringing the Talk the Tic 2013 finals to Sherman for a long time. I want to explain to you, as I explained to some yesterday, why we have the contest at Sherman this year. Number one, I believe in the vision that Sherman has. I believe the theme here is adjusting the world for a better future. That's a vision that I buy into. And I'm so happy that each and every one of you are here, whether you're faculty, staff, student, teacher, supporting that vision. I believe in Dr. Edwin Cordero. He's a great friend and colleague. I'm so excited he has accepted the responsibility and the task at hand. And I want to see Sherman grow as we want to see all our great principal chiropractic schools grow into greatness. And so I'm very excited about what's happening here. That's why Talk the Tic is here this year. It's to continue that momentum. So that's what we're here all about today. I'm going to take a moment, because we're going to get right to the program, and I'm actually going to first introduce our judges and then our contestants. And basically the format today, we're going to have the contestants come up sequentially. We're going to have about 2 minutes in between each contestant after their presentation for the judge to finish tallying up their scores, after which we will tally up all the scores and announce the winner promptly at the end of the assembly. So with all of that said, I want to first introduce our judges. This morning we have joining us, he's a private practitioner and associate professor of clinical sciences and chair of the philosophy department at Sherman College, Dr. William Decken. The voice of Spartanburg, radio personality, Bill Drake is also joining us. Thank you, Bill. A private practitioner and case doctor at Sherman College of Chiropractic has joined us this morning, Sarah Hawk. A retired medical laboratory technician and teacher at Red Cross, as well as a distinctive Toastmaster of Spartanburg, who has previously competed and presented at the Toastmaster conventions and training seminars, Leslie Hughes. And lastly, we have a private practitioner and assistant professor of clinical sciences at Sherman College. He also teaches chiropractic technique courses here, Dr. Kevin Power. And now to introduce our contestants. Representing Life University, it will be our first up. We have Burnier. Representing Parker, we have Jean-Phillipe Mercier. Representing Life Chiropractic College West, we have Brett Jones. Representing LACC, we have Brady Salcido. And representing Sherman College of Chiropractic, we have Guthrie Schroeder. So just to remind you, if you've never heard of Talk the Tic, what these contestants today are going to be doing is they're going to be giving their lay lecture of chiropractic. They're going to be explaining the principles of chiropractic in 10 minutes or less. If they exceed 10 minutes, they will receive a point deduction, and there's a grading criteria that the judges will be applying to the entirety of their talk. At the end of the day, the goal of Talk the Tic is clearly communicating chiropractic to the lay public. We want to make sure that we leave and emerge from school being able to clearly explain our message. And so, without further ado, I believe we're ready, Kelly. This morning, we're going to welcome up our first contestant here. He's coming from Life University. He's in his 9th quarter and graduates December 2014. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Burnier.
This talk is about chiropractic, the philosophy, the science, and the art of all things natural. I want everybody here to close your eyes for a minute. Imagine yourself on a warm, sunny day at the beach. Not a worry in the world. But then all of a sudden, a small cloud hovers over you, blocking the sun. It becomes darker. You become cold. Your energy shifts and you no longer want to go in the ocean. You no longer want to go on the beach. You may even become depressed, wishing for that sun to come back into your life. You can open your eyes. How many people here have experienced this in their life? Okay. Well, what if I were to tell you that it's like how a cloud blocks the sunlight on the outside? A subluxation blocks the light on your inside. And although we do not have the ability to remove clouds from the sky, chiropractors are professionals highly trained in the art of adjusting, capable of removing these subluxations within your body. This is the chiropractic art which brings light back into your life. So what is subluxation? Well, let's break it down. Sub means less than. Lux means light. And ation is the expression of. It is the less than light expression. So what does this mean? Well, we must look at the science of chiropractic in order to better understand it. So this is your spine, your backbone to life. On top sits your brain. Your brain is like the command center. It tells the rest of your body what to do. It communicates through your nervous system. And part of this nervous system is your spinal cord, which is housed within these 24 movable bones called vertebrae. And when one of these bones is to go out of alignment, it puts pressure on a nerve. And just like how a cloud interferes with the sun's rays, a misalignment in your spine interferes with the nerve transmission from your brain to the rest of your body. And when this happens, you become subluxated. And thus, you are not expressing health at 100%. And chiropractic philosophy tells us that health is the expression of innate intelligence. That this innate intelligence allowed you to grow from that one cell to become the 70 trillion cells you are today. So, it is within you. This spark of life, it makes you alive and it lets you live. Chiropractic recognizes, respects, and trusts in this intelligence. Acknowledges that we are self-developing, self-regulating, and self-healing organisms. That the body is more than just the sum of its parts. That the body is more than just the sum of its parts. Think about it. If you're to cut your finger, what happens? You can wash it, you can put a Band-Aid on it, you can even have your mommy kiss it, like when you were a child. But we all know none of this heals it. It is the innate intelligence of our body that ultimately heals the cut. And it is with you every day, every minute. every second you are alive. This power, the power to heal from within, is divine, and yet it is human nature. So often we put more faith in a teaspoon of medicine, more faith in a pill created in a factory. People today are being challenged with health issues more than ever before. Why is this? It is because we spend our time, our money, and our resources on all of the things that we don't want. We are about symptoms, sickness, and disease, rather than life, wellness, and vitality. I heard a quote when I was 9 years old that has stuck with me ever since. That you cannot fight darkness, you must turn on light. You cannot fight disease, you must turn on life. Does it make sense to seek someone that specializes in disease, in darkness, if you want more light into your home? Does it make sense to seek someone that specializes in disease if you want more health into your life? Chiropractic stands on the side of health, on the side of light, and on the side of love. Ultimately, it is about adding years to your life and life to your years. So go to a chiropractor, get adjusted, and remove those subluxations so that the next time you look up and you see the cloud, you can just look up and you see the cloud. You can smile, be happy, and take pride because you know it is just on the outside.
Thank you, Boo. Thank you for kicking us off. So, by raise of hands, how many of you guys have actually heard about Talk the Tic before Sherman held their contest this year? Okay. And by raise of hands, how many of you guys actually participated in the contest either this year or the last year? Okay, so we got 1 and 2. Where are the rest of the people that competed this year? Okay, I want to give you guys a challenge. The judges are telling their scores, but I want to give you guys a challenge that you begin to think about what you want to piece into your health time. See, we don't have a choice when we get into practice. We all have to communicate the message of chiropractic. The question is, how effectively are you going to communicate it to your patients? And whether it's in an interpersonal setting, whether you're over the table with your patient, or whether you're actually delivering a group lay lecture or a new patient orientation, we all have to do it. When this whole thing started, that was the point. It was preparing students so that when we go into practice, we're ready to give our talk. And the more we're prepared, the greater our conviction, the better off we'll all be in practice, and the better our profession will be, because guaranteed you're going to have patients who come to your lectures who may know other people in other towns that are going to need chiropractors. So we want to see the bigger vision in all this. Looks like our judges are about finished tallying their scores here. I'm going to go ahead and introduce our next contestant. He is from Parker University. He's in his 9th trimester. Graduates in April 2014. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome to the stage Jean-Phillipe Mercier.
Recently I was watching a video online. It was a very interesting video actually. It was about a group of astronauts that were getting interviewed as to what the most memorable and most powerful moment of their travel into space was. And all of them without exception, which is an exception for humanity here, all of them agreed on the same thing. They agreed to say that the most powerful memory that they had, the most powerful moment they had experienced whenever they were traveling in space was when they looked back through the round window of their space shuttle. They were going for the moon. They were going outside of the atmosphere. But the only thing they can remember, the one thing that they will tell their kids over and over again, is that when they look back to that round window right there, and saw the earth. They saw the earth, yeah, they had seen it before. They lived on the earth before. They knew what it was about, but never had they realized how whole it was, how beautiful, interconnected, and fragile at the same time. The overview got them to realize how important it was to take care of the planet. It gave them that new perspective, that different perspective, something that they had never seen before. And why that stuck with me is that I am tired of not having the big picture for our health. Societies today is about pills, about medications, about like, you are not enough, you need something from the outside to be able to be healthy and thrive and live the life you're supposed to. Does that make sense? There's something they're not telling us here. And there's something also that they're telling us that you are always supposed to like fight disease. Instead of being optimally healthy, well, you're born in this world to be able to just like have a new normal, have a headache, having a new normal. Having like incoordination or tingling in your fingers, that's the new normal now. We're able to tolerate that. That's what we're told. But what is really the truth here is that the natural state of your body, the normal state of your body, is a state of optimal health. And those two statements, health from within, and natural state of your body is a state of optimal health. Those two things, I was able to understand it for the first time when I heard of chiropractic. When I heard of the philosophy of chiropractic that says that the body is innately intelligent. When I heard of the science of chiropractic that confirms this through the study of the body, through the study of life. And when I heard of the art of chiropractic, that we are able to tap into that potential that we have inside our bodies. That we are able to express health from inside out, instead of having to complement it with something from the outside. And that's kind of reassuring too, because it makes that health available to all of us. Not only the poor, not only the rich, not only the favorized, but everybody. So the philosophy of chiropractic is very simple, like I said, is the body is innately intelligent. It knows exactly what to do at all times to keep you in that state of optimal health. We're going to take one example for a moment. If you think of yourself as a baby, I think your mom can do that better than you do, because you probably don't remember. But the thing is, you came through with one cell, one sperm cell, with an ovum. They met together. There was that electrical spark that was right that just happened, triggered a reaction, a series of events that multiplied the cells from 1, from 2 to 4 to 6 to 8, and eventually to the whole human being you were at for 280 days only. Without your mom having to think about what you would look like, without your mom having to think about how many fingers you had to have, and give you the best feature of your mom, its beauty, and the grace of death. That's the intelligence of the body right there. And it's from the start. That little baby is able to grow, is able to turn over whenever she's ready. She's able to talk, to cry for food. She's able to stand up and walk like a human being. Nobody taught her that. She just figured it out on her own because of that intelligence inside of her. And that intelligence doesn't leave. It never leaves until you're passing. It's from there, from the beginning until transition. You're able to grow, you're able to digest it without thinking, to breathe, and to have a heartbeat without thinking about it, luckily for us. And you're able to heal too. Now intelligence is what heals. It's not the cast you put on top of broken bone. It's not the remedy that you would give to a cancer patient, or even like the pills you take to get rid of that headache. That headache is probably just there because your body's trying to tell you something. Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever thought that there's probably an intelligence inside the body that knows exactly what to do at all times? And that it's just there waiting for you to listen to it. But how can that intelligence know what, and how can it just tap into what you're living? How can it know exactly what's going on around you and in your environment? Well, it designed a very specific system for that. It's a master controlling system of the body called the nervous system. You've probably seen it on pictures. Composed of the brain, the spinal cord, which goes through this amazing structure over here, and then it breaks out and branches into nerves that will go to every cell of your body to control them and tell them exactly what they need to do to be able to maintain you healthy and give you a chance of life expression, life experience. Another sign of that intelligence of the body is that it recognizes that that system is so important, in fact, that it protects it with a very hard shell, some harder than others. And it protects the spinal cord as well, that main highway right there through your spine. It protects it with 24 bones that are stacked on top of the other. But imagine if that spine would be as stiff as your skull. Not much freedom there, is it? Well, that's exactly what the intelligent body is allowing you to do, is allowing you to be free, allowing you to experience life the way you want without compromises. It allows you to be free. And oh boy, we are free. We're able to jump around and bike and be able to play hockey, get crushed at football and stand up again and like go get that guy again one more time. Just because it's fun. We're able to eat hamburgers and cheeseburgers, able to have computer sessions and maybe not think about ourselves as good as we should be. Well, all those things are called stress. Well, our body is able to adapt to those to a certain point. And when it doesn't adapt, it responds by putting a bone out of place, which tells us that something's going on. It's called a subluxation, or interference in the nervous system that cuts communication from the brain to your cell. And because those nerve areas of the spine over here is a very fragile alignment, and when it gets disrupted, that's when life expression is impaired. And as chiropractors, what we do, we're specifically trained to find that subluxation, that interference to your nervous system, that interference to your full life expression. And what we do, that's freaking amazing. It's very simple, in fact. We trust the body that whenever the realignment is going to be back in place, we trust that the intelligence is going to be able to heal and to run you as great as it ever did. Just like even when you were a baby, just like when you were asleep. So what we do, we lay on hands with a natural approach, and we put that vertebra right in place with a specific, purposeful, and intentful adjustment, with a clear goal in mind to restore life expression in your body and your nervous system, so you have a greater chance at experiencing the most precious possession you have. So that's the whole picture for me. And chiropractic gave it to me. It gave it to me without interference. It gave it to me without trying to hide anything from me. It gave me the power back to my health. It gave me responsibility for my life again. I don't have to depend on anything from the outside. And I don't have to settle for less. I am a human being that's able to breathe, that's able to have a heartbeat, to heal and grow physically and spiritually at the same time. And this is all because we were given that amazing gift of life. And I'm happy that somebody else or something else is running it for me, because I wouldn't be able to do so. So that's the whole picture. That's a big perspective I have of my health, and I'm happy I got the opportunity to share with you. The only thing I'm going to ask you today is that you've heard of it, now it's time to take action. Are you just going to sit there and keep that for yourself and not change anything about your life? Or are you, on the opposite hand, going to share that thing inside the body, that power that made it from two cells with other people, so they can experience and have a greater chance of life expression? And the answer is self-expression. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Jean-Phillipe. So some of you guys have wondered where Talk the Tic came from and where it's going. Basically, Talk the Tic started in 2006. In November 2006, I had a dream about a student who was giving his lay lecture. He was giving his lay lecture passionately in front of not just hundreds, but thousands of his peers and lay people, much like yourself. And he was inspiring them to a degree that they felt a lot of camaraderie. So after I woke up, I said to myself, what is it that I'm supposed to do with this dream? And as I reflected for a little bit, I couldn't quite put my finger on it, but within a few hours I actually realized, I said, we need to start a health talk competition. And the newness of that idea, it felt compulsory. It felt like I was the one who was responsible for this, at least at that particular moment in time. And within 3 weeks at Life Chiropractic College West, we recruited 10% of the campus to participate. That was 42 students. And it was one of the most synergetic, energetic experiences that I've ever had, where you could feel the wave of momentum. And since that time, it's grown to approximately 10 to 15 schools around the nation and the world. We last year, one of the most exciting developments is that we had a contestant who actually specifically came from Mexico to participate in our finals last year at the WAVE conference in San Francisco, California. He was so inspired that he went back to his home country in Mexico and brought it to the schools UNEVE and UNIVET. And we also brought 2 contestants from Life University and Life West each. And we had 10 contestants competing in Spanish. So that was a phenomenal development. And the next development that's added is actually a competition for chiropractic assistants. And this is going to start in Australia in 2014. And we're completing our plans right now, but we're going to be working through the organization called Spinal Research of Australia. And I am thrilled about this because if you guys have ever experienced a chiropractic assistant job or setting, you know that the chiropractic assistant is often the face of the office, whether they're the first one answering the phone or whether they're the first face that the patient sees when they walk through the door. So the mission continues, and that's where Talk the Tic continues to head. So are the judges all tallied up here? Okay, we're going to welcome up our next contestant. He is a 12th quarter student at Life Chiropractic College West, graduating in December 2013. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome up to the stage, Brett Jones.
Alright, so a couple house cleaning things before I get started. Song? Yes, you? No. Hello? No. Huh?
Hello? Hello?
Can you hear me without the mic? Yeah, I'm gonna do it without the mic. Speak. Alright, so like I said before I get started, this talk is designated towards I'm obviously chiropractor and mentor at Oakland High School, so this is designated toward the disconnected and the disengaged at this Oakland High School, and really college, and then just spreading everywhere else. And also, since we're all students, there's going to be a few slides where the background is black. When it turns white, I want you to stand up and join me for the rest of the talk. We cool? Yeah? Everybody's on board? Alright, so let's get started. Empty. Empty beer cans, empty pill bottles, fresh burnt purple haze. Living this life in a disconnected daze. We want to feel something, to not feel something. We create a reality disconnected from reality, disconnected from who we really are. And the only reason I mention this is because I've lived a life disconnected. I've lived a life of hate. I've lived a life of worry. I've lived a life of anger and fear. I've lived a life of violence. I'm still here, right? I'm still here. And like I said, when you start living that life of disconnection, you start wondering, where did this even start? Why did I start this path? And if I had to put a date on it, I'll put December 12th, 1999, sometime after midnight. And the reason I remember this date so vividly is because at that time and at that moment, I was asleep and I was woken up by the screams of my mom. She just received a phone call that no mom wants to get. Her son, my brother, died that night in a car accident. And from that moment, everything I ever knew shifted. My whole family dynamic shifted. I used to dream this abundant future, and everything became a scarce reality. I was 13, and I myself never thought I'd make it past the age of 18. And then when you see things on TV like Trayvon Martin, right? And that story of him getting gunned down at 17 and there was no justice in the system, I'd understand if you would be discouraged. I would be discouraged too. I was discouraged too. But sometimes in our life, they say, sometimes you have to experience that darkness, right? To understand what light is. And sometimes your heart has to be cracked open before you let love in. During this time, I questioned religion. Why God was one of the biggest questions. Why God is supposed to be this all-powerful, all-knowing, all-present God. Could you take my brother or let him go? Why faith? Faith was for the suckers. I was living on the day-to-day. Then again, it's crazy how connection finds you. And it finds you in the weirdest ways. Following my collegiate football career, I'd had a brief stint of MMA. And during that MMA career, I thought the next logical step was to become a chiropractor. I thought I could take the body slams from the ring and put them on the table and everything was going to work out all right. But what I didn't know was this little thing called chiropractic philosophy, right? So after leaving my trip as a prospective student to Life West, I was given a book. The book was Chiropractic Revealed. And in that book, I read this quote by Pasquale Sirasoli, one of the most famous chiropractors of all time, in my opinion. Spiritually, all suffering and sickness is non-existent. It's only because of this current state of negativity and a lack of faith in our own power and existence that we have all this sickness, disease, and suffering. This whole time, I thought it was external. I was looking outside in. This whole time, I never knew that I could cultivate this power within. It allowed me to be spiritual without having to be religious. I didn't have to believe in Noah's Ark and Jonah and the well to have a spiritual connection with that innate power. As I continue my journey through chiropractic, that's when I started learning these words such as universal intelligence and innate intelligence. And if you had to ask me today what I think chiropractic is about, I'd say it's all about you and your connection to innate. So what's innate? One of the best examples I have is Honey Boo Boo. My example of innate Honey Boo Boo is because Honey Boo Boo can drink your go-go juice, which consists of Mountain Dew and Red Bull, and somehow the body, the innate intelligence, knows how to make a stomach cell, right? And you can have your fried chicken and it makes a liver cell. You can have something else and it makes another cell. It's just like, this is crazy, that the body knows what to do. It's also the same innate intelligence that took one cell from your papa, one cell from your mama, multiplied, and then you got the people sitting all around this room, right? Crazy intelligence. The same intelligence that if I'm going to get in a fight, knows how to shift that blood from my digestive organs into the muscles so that I'm stronger. Big question in the morning. If that innate intelligence was going to use one system of the body to communicate its messages, which would it use? We're all chiropractic students here. The nerve system. That's right. So the nerve system consists of your brain, your spinal cord, and the nerves that go to every organ, muscle, and tissue that you have. Now, when you're fully connected and you're fully communicating those messages, then that's health. So the only thing that would be off from that is a disconnect from that. And that's what we call in chiropractic that big hip-hop word called subluxation. Subluxation occurs in the back. The bones of your back either become misaligned or stuck. Now there's disconnect or discommunication to the communication of that nerve, right? So as a quick review, 100% connection, 100% communication is 100% health. If we get a subluxation due to stress, chemical, emotional, and physical, then we get disconnection, discommunication, and dis-ease. Left for too long, pain, symptoms, and disease. And what do we all focus on? The pain, symptoms, and disease, right? But here's the billion-dollar question. What pill, potion, or lotion is going to restore connection? What pill, potion, or lotion is going to restore communication? Nothing. Only the detection and correction of subluxation. The detection of chiropractic is the science of chiropractic, right? We take specific x-rays so we know exactly how to adjust you. We can use thermography to know when, right? And we've been getting so far advanced that some people are taking 3D CT scans to see when there's interference to the nerve system, to interference to that communication of innate intelligence. The art of chiropractic, the correction of chiropractic, right? And I show you this picture not because I want to show, my shirt off and the muscles and all that. I show this picture for a specific reason. This was on a service trip in Mexico. This guy had 3 lumbar herniations, got 1 cervical adjustment, and the system got cleared out. He'd been in constant pain, and he talked about going surfing the next day. On the flip side of that is my very own father. 1 lumbar herniation. Before I had the chance to go to chiropractic school, he got cut up. And if you're not aware, 60 to 80% of spinal surgeries end in failure. So now, that's my dad. Is this life? I'll be the first-hand testimonial to tell you it's not. I can remember calling from chiropractic school and calling my dad. And if you ever talk to somebody that's on prescription meds or on drugs, it ain't that person. It's a shell of a person. And you know how hard that is for a son to call his dad asking for help. I want him to talk to him, not be able to talk to his dad. And so when you ask me, when did you really get chiropractic? Is when I had a chance to adjust my dad. And when I adjusted my dad, even though he was in a lot of pain, I didn't ask him about his pain. What I did is I looked into his eye. Was that spark of life back? Was that connection to his innate back? Did I have my dad back? It was the most beautiful thing ever seen. The founder of chiropractic didn't think it was about back pain. He said chiropractic connects man to physical to man to spiritual. A lot of people often ask me, why do you rep chiropractic so hard? Because if you cut me, I'd probably bleed chiropractic. You guys are supposed to stand, so you can stand now. Why do I rep chiropractic so hard? I say this is for Oscar Grant, Trayvon Martin, and all the recently departed, those who got gunned down before they had the chance to get started. This is for my brother, your brother, our siblings who lived a life off course, who never had the opportunity to be connected to Source. This is for my dad, your dad, our parents who live in constant pain, who will never hear this message. We are the only ones to blame. We owe it to them to not live this life in a disconnected days, empty pill bottles, empty beer cans, fresh burnt purple haze. If you're ready to get reconnected, I invite you to please join me at the Source Chiropractic. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Brett Jones of Life West. The Source Chiropractic, that's awesome. So, some of you might have heard about a special DVD that we released this year. Last year, the LifePath TV studio approached me and they said, and this is shortly after the WAVE conference, they said, you know, Dr. Erik, these talks are pretty amazing, and I think that some of these students actually are examples to doctors that are practicing right now. In fact, they said, I'm not sure that doctors are doing health talks like they're doing, like they're demonstrating they can do once they get into practice. They said, so what we'd like to do is offer you a chance to come out to our studios in Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona, just outside of Phoenix, and we'd like to record some of these fantastic health talks so that they can be shared with the chiropractic community. And I gladly accepted. We immediately set out to gather as many finalists from last year's contest as we could, and then one from the year before. So we had Daryl Pratt Blackburn. Has anybody seen Daryl's talk on YouTube from Parker University? One thing you must do at some point in time today, go search Parker University Daryl Pratt Blackburn, and you'll see his talk. So he gave his talk. We had Sean Walker, last year's champion. We had Sarah Mongold, who represented last year at Life West. We had Los Angeles chiropractic contestant, what was his name? Last Brady, what was his name? Not Chris Bowman, who participated from Ellis. Ryan Will. So we had several people participate in this, and it was just such an encouraging effort. I also gave my health talk on the DVD, and then Dr. Joe Marsh has been a huge support for Talk the Tic in years past, gave his presentation. If the library doesn't have a copy on reserve, I'm going to make sure that you guys get a copy on reserve and can check out the DVD. That's what it's there for. And we may, as continued media tools, social media tools advance, we may also create some digital files of these so we can actually begin to share these on social media. I just looked last night. It looks like Life University has a new social media application where you can get the message out quick. And so, this is the purpose that we're seeing continue to advance. I just wanted to give a plug for that. When you have a moment, make sure you check it out in the Sherman library. And like I said, if there is not a copy, whoever's in control of the library here, I'll make sure that you guys get a copy on reserve. Okay, are the judges ready? To welcome up our next contestant on stage, he is from Southern California University Health Sciences, also known as Los Angeles College of Chiropractic. He's in his 10th trimester and graduates in December of 2013. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome up to the stage Brady Salcido.
All right, everybody, my name is Brady Salcido, and today I'm going to start by telling you guys an amazing fact about your human body. Did you know that not every day, not every hour, not every minute, but every single second, you lose 3 million cells? Isn't that incredible? Shouldn't we be a pile of dust on the ground over here right now? But we're not, right? So something inside of us knows to replace these 3 million cells. But here's the kicker. It doesn't just replace 3 million cells. it replaces the right 3 million cells. And that's a big difference, isn't it? You think a liver cell would look good on your skin? All the girls over there, Or how about a skin cell for your heart cell? Of course not. So something inside of us knows to replace each specific individual cell. That's incredibly intelligent. Now, how about if you ever cut yourself, or get a cut, more like that? Do you consciously think about that cut healing? Of course not. Was it the Neosporin or the Band-Aid that healed you? Of course not. It was your own body. And I haven't had to remind you to beat your own heart or to even breathe, so it looks like your body's able to take care of that as well, right? And we call this the innate intelligence of the body. There we go. This innate intelligence controls every single organ, tissue, even cell of your entire body without you having to think about it. This allows you to function, adapt to stress, even heal normally. Now, I'm sure you're probably thinking to yourself, so how does this innate intelligence work in my body? How does this manifest? How does it express itself? Well, let me ask you something. From what we know about our human bodies, what one system is not only connected to every other system in the human body, but controls and regulates the entire human body? The nervous system. Now, the head coordinator of your nervous system is your brain, obviously, right? Now, we know that the brain controls everything. Absolutely everything. And science tells us at any given time, there's anywhere between 50 to 70 trillion cells in your body at one time. That's a lot. And to make that even better, in each one of these cells, there are hundreds of processes going on at one time that are essentially needed for your body to function, adapt, and heal normally. Now, I'm not fantastic at math, so I'm going to say it's about a bajillion processes our brain has to coordinate and regulate at one time. That's incredible. So next question, obviously, we got to ask is, so how does the brain reach out and touch every organ, tissue, even cell of our entire body? The answer? The nerves. Now, the nerves are the brain's main messenger crew from the brain to the body, and vice versa from the body to the brain. It's how we communicate. Now, these nerves are incredibly important because these nerves carry every single message, what we call a mental impulse, necessary to sustain life. They're literally our lifelines. And if we take a step back and look at the even bigger picture, we start to see that this nervous system controls our cardiovascular system, our respiratory system, our digestive system, and allows these to come together to work as a collective unit. Think of it this way. In your car, you have an engine, you have a radiator, you have a transmission, but each one of these by themselves will not get you from point A to point B, right? It's not until the electrical system comes in and powers and connects all these together that your car can actually work as a car, right? And get you from point A to point B. Think of your nervous system as the same way. Your digestive system, your respiratory system, by themselves are absolutely useless and meaningless until the nervous system comes in, powers and coordinates all these together in harmony that allows you to be able to express yourself as a whole human being. It's pretty incredible, right? Now, these nerves come out of one main area of our body, the spine. Now, the spine is made up of 24 movable bones or vertebrae that are intricately and specifically placed in arrangement to allow for proper passage of these nerves and a clear line of communication from the brain to the rest of your body. Now, we all deal with stress in our life, whether it be physical stress, slips and falls, sports, or maybe even mental emotional stress, relationships, work, hardships in life, or maybe even chemical stress, what we put into our bodies, junk food, prescription drugs, even environmental toxins. Any one of these stresses can cause these vertebrae to come out of their normal position and interfere with the vitally important messages that these nerves are carrying. This interference to our body's nervous system is what is known as a subluxation. Now, knowing what we know about the importance of these nerves and the vitally important messages that they carry, can you imagine what would happen if our body's nervous system was being interfered with by subluxation? Would not be good, right? There's absolutely no way that you'd be able to function, adapt to stress, or even heal normally. Now, I know that seems kind of scary, because that means that you won't be able to reach your full potential. There's absolutely no way. But don't worry, because there are doctors out there who specialize in the nervous system, who are highly trained to analyze, detect, even correct these subluxations. These amazing men and women are known as chiropractors. Now, chiropractors can remove these subluxations by gently and specifically adjusting them back into their proper positioning, allowing your body's lifeline or nervous system to flow clear and uninhibited, thus restoring a clear line of communication from the brain to the rest of your body. Now, the beauty of chiropractic, and the thing that I love about chiropractic, is that it's an art. And we all know with art, there's hundreds of different types of art out there that appeal to different people depending on what you like, right? It's the same thing with chiropractic. There's a wide variety of techniques out there suitable for anybody from age 0 to 175. There is a chiropractic technique out there for you. But the beautiful thing about this is that with all these techniques, they all accomplish the same exact goal: the removal of the subluxation and the optimizing of your life. Now, I want to share with you a personal story of mine. I played rugby at Azusa Pacific University in California, and one of my best friends, my teammates, Adam, was on the team with me. He came to me after practice one day and goes, "Hey, dude, I got this gnarly pain right here in the middle of my back. Like, can you fix it? I know you want to go to chiropractic school, but you fix it." I told him, "I'm not a chiropractor yet, so maybe you should see an actual chiropractor. Probably be your best choice." So Adam did. Went and saw a chiropractor and came back, and he said the chiropractor had found a mass on the X-ray. And after getting a second opinion, the oncologist ruled that it was bone cancer. And I was slowly moving closer and closer towards the spine and spinal cord. And if they didn't start chemo and radiation right away, they'd have to remove a rib, a vertebrae, and part of his right lung. At 20 years old, there's absolutely no way that Adam would ever be the same after that. So Adam came to me as his best friend and asked, "What should I do?" And I'll be honest with you, I was completely terrified. I had no idea what to do. Absolutely no idea. So I told him, "Hey, just do it. You know, everybody seems to be doing it, just go for it." But I remember he looked at me, looked me straight in the eye and told me, "No." The chiropractor told me something different. And so I asked him what it was. The chiropractor told him everything that I'm telling you today, and told him to trust his own body. He told him the power that made the body can heal the body. And that's exactly what Adam did. Adam trusted his own body, and he got his spine checked regularly for subluxations. And within a month, Adam's body had rid himself of the tumor by 50%. 50%. And within a year, there was even no evidence of a tumor even being there. How incredible is that? Adam has his life back. I have my best friend back. He now lives happier and healthier than he ever has before, and still gets checked regularly by his chiropractor. This guy. Now, here's the big deal. Here's what I'm trying to get at, guys. Is by removing these subluxations, we remove the interference from above the brain down to the rest of the body and allow your body to heal from the inside out. This allows you to live at 100% of your optimal potential. Because we know if you're living at 50% of your optimal potential, you're not just limiting your health, you're limiting your life as well, aren't you? And that's a big deal. Adam took that first step and now lives with 100% life each and every day. So I encourage you, get checked for these subluxations right away so you too can experience what 100% life feels like. And please don't keep this for yourself. Share it to others so that we can help others reach their full health potential too and experience what 100% life is like. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Brady. Great job, Brady. So I thought I'd take a moment and give some detail about this right here. Ladies and gentlemen, can you all see this? It's a beautiful prism of crystal. This is what we call the chiropractic torch. And when we took the competition outside of Life West, it was held, the national competition was held at Life West for the first 2007, 2008, and 2009. In 2010, we brought it to Life University. And while at Life University, I got together with my fraternity, which is Delta Sigma Chi. I got together with the brothers there, and I said, I really want something to resemble what this contest is all about. And I want it to resemble something that we share between all the colleges. Because as you know, it never stays just at one college while we all do campus contests. It's a rotating finals presentation. And I said, what I want is a traveling trophy, if you will, of Talk the Tic. And so we got together, we literally scrounged up enough money that day to go to a trophy shop, gave him the graphic artwork, put a move on him, and within, I think it was 3 hours, he had made what today is called the chiropractic torch. And from year to year, it's been traveling. It started in Atlanta, moved to Parker University, and last year it moved to Palmer Davenport. And the question this year is, who's going to take the traveling trophy home with them? on this trophy, I put an inscription that I think really resembles what in our heart we should all be about. And it says, "Hold high the chiropractic torch. You did not light its glow. It was given to you by others you know." So it's actually a rendition, I believe, of another poem. But the whole idea is that chiropractic and the profession that we have today, the privilege that we have to practice, the freedom that we have to practice, it has been given to us by the sacrifice of many. And we want to hold that torch high. We want to maintain the purest possible motives. As you see the way this trophy glows, to me it resembles the purity of principle and interest in the well-being of mankind. So that's what this trophy resembles, and that's the significance. This year we don't have cash prizes, but we do have some things that we're going to give the contestants. But the significance is not getting a cash prize, ladies and gentlemen. It's what you take with you into practice. It's when you have invested in your talk, it will repay you for a lifetime. You ask any successful doctor out there, they're going to tell you that. And so I want to make sure that we clearly understand that and understand the significance of this trophy. Somebody's going to take it home today. I believe, judges, we're ready for the next contestant. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, our final presenter this morning is a 14th quarter student at Sherman College of Chiropractic. He graduates in December of 2013. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome up Guthrie Schroeder.
Everybody hear me? Just good? Yeah, okay, great. So hello, my name is Guthrie Schroeder, and I am truly honored and absolutely excited to be here today to share some things with you. I want to first congratulate each and every one of you for making the life-changing choice to be here today. If you're here today, then you are some of the few, like myself, who are not willing to settle for less. I want to assure you that you are in the right place at the right time, because never before in the history of health and wellness has it been as clear as it is today that chiropractic is the healthcare reform that not only this country, but the entire world needs. Now today we're going to talk about some concepts that may challenge you. But I promise you that all of us will grow as a result of today's discussion. So we've all experienced bad cell phone service, haven't we? And these seem to happen at the absolute perfect times, don't they, right? So now, I experienced something like this myself just about last week. So this is my awesome wife, Linda, and myself. And what you need to know about Linda is that she is an absolutely amazing cook. So what Linda wanted to do for us last week, she wanted to make one of her delicious meals. And so she's made this meal before. She knows exactly what she needs to do. She knows exactly which ingredients she needs. And she knows exactly how much she needs to make for us. So she wrote a list for me and said, "Sweetheart, would you please go to the store and get these things for me?" So I said, "No problem." So I go to the store and I realized that I forgot the list. So luckily I had my cell phone with me and I gave Linda a call. And after which I went to the store and got everything that we needed. When I got home, I quickly realized that I probably forgot about half of the stuff that she actually needed. See, I called from inside the store, and there must have been some sort of communication problem. See, there was an interference between our communication. Now, this caused this, hiccup in our evening because we couldn't make dinner. This is an annoying problem if it's just the case where it's a husband going to the grocery store and doesn't bring home the groceries that are needed, right? But it is an enormous problem if the communication interference happens between your brain and your body. Your brain your nervous system is the master control system of the entire body. Your body is made up of trillions of tiny little factories that we call cells, all of which constantly need information from the brain, instructions on what to make, when to make it, and how much of everything needs to be made. So your nervous system acts as the information superhighway between your brain and your body, connecting the communication lines from your brain to your body so that your brain can coordinate the function or really harmonize all of the actions among each part of the body. You see, your brain acts like the master conductor of a world-class symphony. coordinating the function of every part of the whole to create the harmony that we call life. It is not important, but it is essential that we maintain a properly healthy and functioning nervous system if we want to maintain good health. Now, first, to understand what we need to do to maintain a properly functioning nervous system, we first need to understand how it all works. So you have nerves that go to every part of the body. You have a nerve that goes to the heart. You have nerves that go to the lungs, to the stomach, to the liver, to every part, even the big toe, and the little one too. So that the brain can properly coordinate everything, right? So the brain can say, this needs to happen now, the next thing needs to happen, so that each part can function as a synergistic unit of the whole thing. The bones of the spine that are designed to allow us to move and bend also are designed to house and protect our delicate spinal cord and nerves. However, if one or more of these bones moves out of proper position or is misaligned, putting pressure on one of these delicate nerves, there's an interference in the communication from the brain to the body. This is the perfect time to discuss the next topic that is absolutely fundamental to your health. The idea that an interference in the communication between your brain and your body is a bad thing, right? This is a term known as subluxation. It has been published in scientific journals that it only takes the weight of a dime to negatively affect the vital functioning of a nerve cell. Now, like we talked about, these spinal bones are designed to protect the nerves. And if they move out of place, they can put a little bit more pressure on the nerve than a dime, right? So we want to make sure that the bones of the spine stay in proper position. Subluxations do not allow your full potential to shine through. Nerve interference does not allow your body to function at 100% because the brain cannot properly communicate with the body. Now, who wants to live a life of their fullest potential? Pretty much everybody, right? Now, do we want our body to function at 100% all of the time or just some of the time? Ideally all of the time, right? The minute that you compromise and accept a less than optimally functioning nervous system, you lose the coordinating abilities of your brain. You function and perform at less than 100%, and you throw away your true potential. Lucky for us, health-conscious people like you and I, chiropractic was discovered over 100 years ago to help to restore proper brain-body communication. Now, chiropractors, this is important, chiropractors are the only professionals in the entire world who are highly skilled, highly educated, and highly trained to locate, analyze, and correct subluxations. Now, chiropractors don't correct subluxations to remove pain. They don't correct subluxations to even remove some other symptom that you may experience. Chiropractors remove subluxations to give you back your full potential. So what causes subluxation? There are three major causes. The first being traumas. A trauma can be as big as a car accident or as small as a trip and a fall. These seemingly small bumps and hiccups along the road can cause massive problems later in life, if left uncorrected. The next major cause of subluxation are thoughts or stress. Stress creates massive changes in muscle activity, which we can all relate to by experiencing the stress that we feel in our shoulders. Stress makes it so that our muscles can sometimes pull the small bones of the spine out of proper position. The last and final cause of subluxation are toxins. Toxins anywhere from our environment, from the foods that we eat, from the water that we drink, to the polluted air that we breathe. Now that we know the causes of subluxations, what can we do to protect our families? Chiropractors all over the world are working every day to help restore the proper communication within people's nervous systems. The artful chiropractic adjustment is gentle and specific to each person individually. This means that chiropractors can take care of people from as soon as they're born all the way until just before they pass. Because so that the people that chiropractors serve can live a happy and fulfilled life. You see, all major health professions have a philosophy that describes why they do what they do. The philosophy of chiropractic is unique in that it recognizes the innate intelligence or the inborn wisdom of the body, which is constantly striving within each and every living human being to adapt the body to an ever-changing environment. Chiropractors know that you cannot live to your full potential if you have an interference within your nervous system. Chiropractors know that in order to live to our fullest potential, we need to have a functioning nervous system that is able to coordinate the function of how we develop, how we heal, and how we grow. Now is where a critical few decisions must be made. Do you choose to have a life of uninterrupted, interference-free nervous system? Do you choose to take your health into your own hands? And do you choose to live to your fullest potential? So you said that knowledge creates growth. We talked about growth today at the beginning. Do not sit idly by and watch your family, your friends, and your neighbors live a life of less than their full potential. I want to congratulate everyone for receiving this gift of growth. I want to encourage everyone to return to your communities as leaders in health. Give the gift of growth. I want everybody to give themselves a hand for being some of the unique few who are here today, who are unique enough to step up and bring the community change that is needed so desperately. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Guthrie. Guthrie is our final presenter this morning, and as the judges tally up their scores, I'm going to go ahead and give them permission. Once they're done here, they can actually give their judging sheets to Kelly, or I think you guys are going to head to a separate room and tally up the scores there. I'm going to take a few moments to talk to you guys about really what we've been talking about this morning, which to me is the story of chiropractic. We've got to come away this morning with a few things clear in our mind. And the first thing that we need to clarify in our heads is what is the chiropractic story? What is our story as a profession? 1895, D.D. Palmer's been studying a field of healing called magnetism. Magnetism was where you placed one hand on one side of the body, the internal organ usually, and then your other hand on the other side. And it was an energy transfer where you would try to restore and neutralize organs and organ systems. He saw that something was unique about one of the prominent magnetic healers in his day, who I believe was in Davenport, Iowa, went out to study with him and began to raise some questions, even as he was seeing some results. He often wondered, why is it that some people experience the same pathogen, some get sick, and some stay well? And as he began to ask questions, the essence of scientific thinking is what? It's questioning. As he began asking really good questions, he began to develop even a greater appreciation for the nervous system. And studied the nervous system and living things from the time he was a kid. Even as a young boy, actually, he would disarticulate anatomy specimens. He lived in Canada when he was growing up. And he began to ask himself, what is it that's so unique about the nervous system? And at one point, as he was working in his endeavors, he identified Harvey Lillard in 1895, a janitor that had been working in the infirmary he was working in. He identified that he had a very prominent misalignment in his spine. Some say it was in the upper neck, some say it was in the upper back. I don't really think that matters today. What matters today is what he did with his question. He said, is it possible that misalignment in Harvey's spine is actually causing direct or indirect nerve interference that's interfering with his ability to hear? Harvey was hard of hearing. And so he asked Harvey if he could examine him. After examining him, he laid him on a park bench in Davenport, Iowa, got his permission to do some work on him. And over the course of, I believe, 2 or 3 days, he laid a quick impulse thrust into that spine. And lo and behold, Harvey's hearing was restored. I mean, that's amazing. And he said to himself, we've got a cure for hearing. But that's kind of funny. And so he began, actually, if you look at the early advertisements, he began advertising, we've got a cure for hearing. He didn't, I don't think he even knew what it was called at this point in time, but he said, we've got a cure for hearing. Shortly after, went to Samuel Weed, a minister who named the profession Chiropractic, practice of Chiro meaning the hand. And this synergy began to form, and he invited people that had hearing problems, only to find that not everybody with hearing problems actually got healed. And so maybe chiropractic wasn't necessarily a cure for hearing, but some of those people with hearing problems, guess what? They had other issues that they didn't tell D.D. Palmer they had. And what were they experiencing? Well, they were experiencing other forms of healing. And as time went on, things continued to develop, and D.D. began to realize that he was just simply restoring normal tone in the body, increasing the quantity of life, and not necessarily was chiropractic a cure for anything. It was a way of manifesting the utmost health in every human being possible. And if you can imagine, if you can put yourself in his place, the excitement that he felt about this new science that was beginning, it must have, to him, it was such good news, he simply wanted to spread it as wide and far and deep as he could. While there was a lot of controversy, there were so many great, exciting things that were happening. If you look in the early 1900s, chiropractic was the first to take a spinal x-ray and study x-ray. Every time D.D.'s son, B.J., snapped an x-ray, the whole town of Davenport would surge. He was beginning to learn more about the body. And if you've ever read about B.J. in the Green Books, he made his life mission that he would make chiropractic scientific to scientific men. And he carried on. In the early 1920s, when the Great Flu arrived, chiropractors were on the scene, adjusting people who weren't getting results from other methods of healing. And chiropractors carried on their mission. They went to jail. Who's ever read any stories of chiropractors that have been jailed? It's pretty amazing. They had to pay fines, and they also had the opportunity to stay in jail if they disagreed with the cause for which they were sent to jail. What were they sent to jail for? Anybody? Practicing medicine without a license. And what was their contention? We're not practicing medicine at all. As Reggie Gold has often said, chiropractic is not involved in the business of medicine. Chiropractic has nothing to do with sickness or disease. As these contestants this morning pointed out, it has to do with increasing the quantity of life and optimizing the potential of innate, which is expressed through the nerve system. As we carried on, they developed ways to measure what we did, and they refined their skills of palpation. There were technique books exploding. Palmer Chiropractic College, I don't know if you guys realize this, but it during war times was one of the most expansive colleges around. BJ was criticized only because his school was becoming incredibly popular. There was a thrill about what was happening with chiropractic. And in some ways, the pain and suffering of things like going to jail, of them accusing of our medical or other counterparts accusing us of practicing medicine without a license, those challenges, they took those lemons and they squeezed them as hard as they could to make lemonade. And They dream perhaps of one day practicing in a fashion like you and I have the opportunity to do today, where we can actually make an appreciable, a great living. We can offer our services to anybody and everybody. We're a portal of entry into the healthcare system. I mean, the future is bright, you guys. The future is bright. But the thing is that if we cannot see that future, the public's going to miss out. And this is where we really get down to not so much our professional story, but your story. I want you guys to think about that decisive moment that led you guys to become a chiropractic student, or perhaps faculty member here, teacher, administrator. What was that decisive moment that you said, this is it? This is what I want to do? Maybe it wasn't a decisive moment, maybe it was a process. Maybe it was an evolution. If you put that concretely in your head, so that every time you see the fellow student that you're with, or the teacher, or perhaps when you're in practice with your patient, your mission is clear all the time. And more importantly, you realize that it's critical to actually communicate that mission and share that mission with people. I suppose the biggest point of Talk the Tic is I don't care if you're afraid. I don't care if you have fears. We all have fears, ladies and gentlemen. We're all gonna struggle with things that we don't like in life. There's always work that we need to do that we don't want to do. And the question that I would ask you today, is your fear more important than the advancement of the chiropractic message? As one of the contestants pointed out today, when we operate in fear, we don't go to someone who specializes in darkness to work on our windows. So I want you to think about yourself in this term. You have a message. You have a message that's important for every single person that's in your life today to share as it pertains to chiropractic. Whether you choose to share that message is up to you, but you have a message. And right now, as you're a student, you have an opportunity to refine it until it becomes as crystal clear as we see that trophy is right there. So you can share that at any given opportunity, whether it's in an elevator or whether it's in front of 500 people. You get to share that message because it's clear to you. What is the future of chiropractic? Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is it right here. You're looking at each other. We have the opportunity to actually impact our world tomorrow. I heard my father, I practiced with my father in our staff meeting this last week. He said the latest news about the chiropractic industry is that the trends have shown that we're seeing fewer people. Right now, there's different estimates, but it's around 8%. 8% of our nation. Are we satisfied with 8%, you guys? You know what kills me? It's when I hear a patient that said, you know what, I just took my child to the medical doctor, and they've got a really bad ear infection, and the doctor had to cut their mastoid out. A patient said that to me once, and they had never asked me about the infection before I had the opportunity to tell them that their child could be benefited from chiropractic. But was that the right thing to tell them anyhow, you guys? No. You see, chiropractic is not an ailment for disease. It's something that we ought to give to every child when they're born. We ought to check every child when they're born. And the thought that I struggle with is if I had told that parent earlier and had simply made it a specific point in my patient conversation to say, have you gotten your children checked by a chiropractor? Or your grandchildren? Or your wife? Perhaps we would have avoided that. That's the stuff that kills me. And I'm thinking, they thought that there was something wrong with the mastoid. They thought that there was less innate intelligence in that mastoid. You know, and it sounds crazy to us, but I'll tell you what. When you deal with people that deal in fear, they're going to respond in a way that's more emergent. And so our job then is to really bring them to a point where they can experience the chiropractic message and the joy that we have in bringing light into their lives. One of my routine conversations with my patients is I'll say, Is there anybody in your life right now that's been suffering that you're aware of, that's on a lot of medications, experiencing things like headaches, dizziness, perhaps sleepless nights? And in the course of that conversation with the patient, they may not think of somebody at that moment, but as time moves along, they're going to think about people in their life that they see. Sometimes I just ask them, have you ever looked at the posture of your husband or wife? You know, if they're standing at you like this, if they're looking crooked like this, don't you think it's a good idea to get their spine checked? And that sometimes I'll also give a little bit of a guilt trip to parents. Say, you know, so have you ever gotten your children checked? They say no. Well, how is it fair that you're experiencing the benefits of chiropractic care and your kid, who's really the future of your family, has never even been checked? And, you know, it's not a fear tactic, it's really pressing them and encouraging them in an environment that hopefully in your office is going to be uplifting and exciting to experience the benefits of chiropractic. You guys are going to go out into whatever community you guys end up settling in, and you guys are going to set up your clinic. You're going to have a business plan laid out. You've got plenty of great resources here at Sherman on your board of trustees and your classes to set up a really solid business. But there's one component that you're going to have, and that's a really solid health talk lay lecture. Your lay lecture about chiropractic. You guys are going to have the opportunity to set up regional lectures. Go to the local library and set up a talk for children or your local school. You know what a dentist succeeded in years ago that they succeeded in as a community? They went into the second grade and actually put a big happy tooth in front of the class and said, this is your tooth, and they educated the kids basically about the structure of their mouth, and then they said, you know, and here's a thing of floss, and you got a floss, and you got a brush. They made it fun for them. And from second grade on, those people really got used to the chiropractic, or to the idea of dentistry, prophylactic dentistry. And I don't know the numbers of dentistry, but I'd imagine they're seeing a good amount of the population, certainly greater than 8%. But our teeth are replaceable, our spine is not, right? And so I often ask my patients, hey, is your spine replaceable? Yeah, no, it's not. Are your teeth replaceable? Yeah, I agree with that. So, you know, you can get out to the local school. You have to be creative. You have to create opportunities for your voice to be heard in your community. But inevitably, the greatest opportunity you're going to have every day is the patient that's right in front of you, interacting in your midst, and as you care for them in a loving way. And they feel that embrace that you have for them, that love that you have for them as a chiropractor, which, I'll be honest, that's the part of chiropractic that seems to be entirely unique, is that people truly feel the love and the heart that you have for them. They know that they're not just someone that you're there for their pocketbook, that you are actually there for them, that you are there for their health and their family's health. And that love component, it's going to open up their heart. It is going to naturally lead them into wanting to send their friends and family to experience the same thing. So, I've got a question. Who's ready to set up their health talk? Today, you guys have it upon you to begin forming in 5 or 10 minutes words that you're going to share with your future practice. And right now, you can share with your fellow students. The things that you're going to point out that are critical to understand the principles of chiropractic explained clearly so that any layman can understand. You guys have that opportunity in front of you, and really the future is in your hands. And what I will commit to is that I'm going to continue supporting you and create opportunities that, you know, together our voices can be heard through the mechanisms of Talk the Tic and otherwise. I've even had, 2 years ago, we set up a doctor's competition so that students didn't necessarily feel like they're the only ones doing this. Because I really believe that doctors ought to also show us what their health talk looks like in active practice. Interestingly enough, I put a $5,000 cash prize out, and I only have 25 contestants. So if you're afraid, don't worry, I think the doctors are perhaps more afraid in practice than you may be as a student. So, again, by raising hands, and I want to see everyone above. How many of you are ready to shape your health talk today? I believe in you. I believe you can do it, and I want to support you however we can. Do we have the results? Is Kelly still tabulating the results here? Okay, we got about 1 more minute. Okay, so why don't I talk a little bit more about the initiative in Australia? So Sherman Matthews, she's the president of the CAAA Association in Australia. And chiropractors in Australia, I'm not sure if you guys are aware, right now in Australia, chiropractic is under attack. There's an evidence-based movement that basically is suggesting that you have to have proof of every single thing that chiropractic does in order for it to exist. So is anybody aware what one of the more recent developments is in Australia relative to pediatrics? What is it? Okay. Well, tell me what development that you are aware of.
Well, I'm just aware of general Australia and the medical situation with chiropractic and how they treat this application just as sort of concept and how they just really, as you mentioned before, want the evidence base out there and really tend more to rehab and all this. Sure.
Okay, thank you. She was just, you guys heard her right? So they believe that subluxation is a historical concept. So basically they would take everything that we presented today and say that doesn't even exist. Show me the proof. So spinal research in Australia right now has a huge burden on it to actually defend our profession. Like literally, we're in the brink of war. There's a lot of negative press in Australia. They're under fire, and more recently, I'm not going to specify what, but all I know is that they're saying that up to a certain age, a child cannot be adjusted because it's injurious to a child to get adjusted. And as a chiropractor's son, I can't imagine what my life would be like if I had been checked at a young age. I can't imagine what my children's life, I've got 2 little girls, I can't imagine what their life would be like if I didn't have the liberty and the privilege of checking them at a young age. And so Australia's in a situation where they need every resource they can to make their message as clear and powerful as they can and fight these powers that be. And so Sherman Matthews who contacted me out of the blue and said, we've got a CA, the Chiropractic Assistant Association that's forming and developing out here. It's becoming increasingly powerful, and we want to take the time at our regional congresses. They have a congress in each state in Australia. We want to take time to do a workshop, a 3-hour workshop with our chiropractic assistants so that they can actually represent what chiropractic is all about and actually begin to exercise their voices. And so it's in this context of really fighting for what's right that Shireen has contacted me. I was on the phone with her for an hour and a half yesterday, and I just want to commend Spinal Research and CAAA for how they're defending chiropractic in Australia. And we have cycles of this in our profession. There's challenges at different ends of the continent, but the thing is their fight is not alone. Like, we actually need to partner with them. We've got research cohorts here. I know Life Chiropractic College West has begun to start to work in some capacity with spinal research. There are opportunities to partner so that we can begin to, if not simply be aware of it, actually collaborate and get the research out there, put information out there that's going to silence voices that say this child can't be adjusted because it's injurious to the spine. What happens over there inevitably affects what's over here. What's over here affects also what's over there. And so I'm super excited about the first ever CA Talk the Tic. It's going to start in 2014. And like I said, they're going to present it at each of the regional congresses. This is the preliminary plan. And then the plan is to, if we can get the CAs confident enough, submit a video, have that be an example at each association, and then have a finals as well for the Chiropractic Assistants of Australia. So some exciting things coming up. Kelly, do we have the results? Okay. I'd like to first welcome up all the contestants. Come join me on stage. Everybody give again a great big warm round of applause for all our contestants. Okay, so thank you guys again for showing your demonstration of your willingness to step out and share your voice. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I commit to you what you've committed to all of us today, which is to continue sharing your voice with the world. So without further ado, the third place in today's international Talk the Tic finals is Burnier. And the international champion of 2013 Talk the Tic finals. Oh, the second place is third and first, that's it. We don't have a second place. Second place, arriving in second place this year in our 2013 Talk the Tic finals is Brett Jones from Life Chiropractic College. Alright, and let's get a drum roll, warm round of applause. And our 2013 Talk the Tic champion is Brady Salcido. The other end here. Okay, great. Thanks, Brady. Why don't you share a couple words about what this means to you?
All right. Well, I actually competed in this last year, so this is my second time doing this event. And Ryan Wilk won last year and came in third place, I think, last year. And it was really cool for me to be able to not only see it for the first time, and it's probably a good thing that I didn't go that year because I just learned so much about my own health talk and getting to hear different people is really kind of enlightened to the different ways of thinking that you normally wouldn't experience. And so this experience has been awesome. So I encourage you guys, if you aren't thinking about it, you are thinking about it, I encourage you to definitely try it and definitely just do it. Even if you don't win, it doesn't matter. It's still taking that first step in the right direction of getting that health talk going and getting your mind thinking that way because people really knew what we had. And I'm excited for where chiropractic is going. And every time I do Talk the Tic and listen to Talk the Tic, it just gets me more amped for what people are saying, what people are doing to further themselves in our profession because we need to take that next step up and be better. Not only for us, but for the people that need this message. So thank you guys for coming out and thanks for supporting us.
All right, thanks, Brady. All right, well, there you have, folks. This year's 2013 finals. I want to thank Dr. Edward Burnier. I appreciate your commitment to Talk the Tic and to being such a welcoming host. I want to appreciate Kelly Ashcraft and Caroline Watson, who have been my cohorts and specifically helping organize this. I want to thank the board of Sherman Chiropractic College for being such a beacon for chiropractic truth. That's what I want to support, and I think that's what we all want to support. And I want to really encourage you guys again, make sure you make use of the DVD, the Talk the Tic DVD, the in-studio, that's going to be reserved in the library. I have a couple brochures about the history of Talk the Tic, if you'd like one. And just continue getting together, you know, and make your health talk as powerful as it can be, and see yourself in practice before you even begin laying hands on people, sharing the principles of chiropractic, because communication is as much an art as adjusting is. So thank you guys once again. You guys have been wonderful, and have a wonderful day.